Introducing the D'Addario Autolock, made with locking strap ends for an easy-to-use, clip-on system. When you're done, just pull the latch and slide it off. Keep your guitar on lock with D'Addario Autolock.
This is John Bollinger. I'm here with Albert Lee.
Thank you.
One of my all-time personal guitar heroes. Albert, can't thank you enough for joining us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Why don't we start? I realize you're on the road right now, so your rig's a little Spartan, using mostly just backline.
Yeah, I'm just hauling a guitar, and I brought the wrong effects unit.
Oh, really?
Which, I do it quite often. I get,
yeah.
My favorite one is in LA.
Oh, so. Really? So what? Well, let's start with your guitar, and we'll get into that later. So you've been playing this for what, like 20 years now?
Yeah, I got involved with Ernie Ball. Well, I got to know the family and the company in the early '70s when I came over with Head, Hands and Feet, and at the time they were just making acoustic guitars, But then I think it was a couple of years later they got involved with Tom Walker, who had started Music Man Company with Leo Fender. So, and Sterling Ball, Ernie's son, was Tom's godson. So I ended up with a bunch of Music Man amps. So I was loving these amps,
Right.
But I guess it was a few years later, the Music Man Company kind of fell apart, the original one. Leo went off and did G&L, and then Ernie Ball bought what was left of them, bought the Music Man name, and then they started to design electric guitars. And I was around at the time, and I put in my 2 cents worth, what I thought would be good in an electric guitar.
Yeah.
So and then they made a couple of silhouettes, and I played those, and I loved them. I thought they're so comfortable and nice and compact, and
yeah.
And they were new guitars. My Tellys were old guitars, so
right.
I just love these guitars, But how this one came about, this design was like a secondary model they decided to do, and they showed them at the NAMM show for 1 year, and there wasn't a lot of interest. They were mainly concerned with pushing the Music Man bass, because
Sure.
they carried on making that, and they had the Silhouette guitar. But I really liked the look of this crazy thing, and it was kind of wacky looking,
Actually, the first time I saw it was Nigel Tuff's from Spinal Tap.
Oh, well, that's right. Yeah, that's my guitar.
Yeah, he had one with a crazy odometer on the.
Oh and like 5 pickups and
right.
Names of the keys inlaid down the edge of the fingerboard, and
very subtle.
Yeah. So that was my guitar. Yeah. Well, this. So Sterling had one made that was all maple body and maple neck, and we were playing together quite a lot at the time.
Sure. He was your bass player often, right?
Yeah, yeah. So he said, he said, I've got a new guitar, I'm going to bring it to the gig tonight. You wait till you see it, you'll fall in love with it, So he opened up the case and it looked very much like this, actually. I thought, wow, I like that. He said, well, all right, it's yours, you know. And I played that guitar for a number of years. And they'd only made about half a dozen of these guitars in that design, you know. So I was one of the only guys playing one of these things, you know. So I played it for a number of years, but they didn't really have production geared up enough to be able to put it on the market, you know. But eventually they did, you know. So we're going to put your guitar out, you know. And I said, well, great, you know. So and I've been playing them ever since. You know?
Right.